As we quickly approach the launch of Virgin Voyages' fourth ship, Brilliant Lady, there has been so much exciting news from across the whole Virgin Voyages fleet in the past 2 weeks. My name's David from VV Insider, and this is the latest Virgin Voyages Insider Update. We're going to walk through the details of Halloween onboard Virgin Voyages in 2025. We're revealing information about an exciting new voyage called the True Crime Voyage. We have more details to reveal about who will be joining the comedic cast of the UK Comedy Fest sailing. And very recently, we revealed details of the new summer 2027 season from Scarlet Lady, including a brand new port for Virgin Voyages, so very exciting. And we also have a sneak peek at some photos from inside the construction progress on Brilliant Lady before she launches later this year. So stick around and we're going to go through everything with you. VV Insider is the #1 resource for the latest Virgin Voyages info, guides and news. From picking the perfect cabin to booking dining, or simply just making the most of your voyage and saving money while you do it, VVinsider.com has helped thousands of sailors around the world sail smarter. Support our work by hitting subscribe and stick around to hear how you can get exclusive perks by booking directly with us. Okay, let's jump in. First up is the Halloween sailings. If you've never been on board Virgin Voyages during the Halloween season, you're missing out. There are so many fun things to do on a Halloween voyage with Virgin Voyages, which include extra special themed parties, which encourage you to dress up in costume and just have an ooky spooky, really fun time. And this year, there are more Halloween sailings than there's ever been before, and that's across all 4 ships. Scarlet Lady has 2 sailings, Valiant Lady has 3 Halloween sailings. If you want to read about all the fun events that happen on board these Halloween sailings, including the costume balls, the competitions, the exclusive food and drinks that are available on these voyages as well, do check out our article on VVinsider.com, where we look at the Halloweens gone by, including photos of the fantastic costumes that were part of those big parties. If you like your voyages a little bit more on the silly side, the Halloween voyages are absolutely perfect. But don't worry, if you're booked on one of those Halloween sailings and you still prefer to keep things chill, Virgin Voyages are really good at this, and they separate the fun and hijinks out from the chill areas, so you'll never feel overwhelmed. Moving on to another extra special sailing that Virgin Voyages announced just a few days ago, and that's the announcement of Virgin Voyages' first ever True Crime Voyage. So if you're a fan of true crime podcasts, this is the voyage for you. This voyage includes an exclusive program of events that are being hosted by iHeart Podcasts. This voyage will host live recordings of 3 podcast episodes, including Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, Betrayal, and Buried Bones. There's also going to be workshops to tell you how you can start a podcast yourself, exclusive meet and greet events with the podcast's hosts. It also promises signature themed cocktails and themed dining experiences as well. And what's more, this true crime sailing will also be one of the Halloween edition sailings as well. So all of the spooky fun that we talked about as part of the Halloween sailing, you'll also get as part of this voyage. The True Crime Voyage is going to be hosted on Valiant Lady on the 10th of October this year. It's a 5-night voyage, and looking at our price and availability history on VV Insider, prices start from around about $1,500 per 2 sailors. You'll have to be quick. The True Crime Voyage has been picked up by national media, so we expect to see some of the cabin categories selling out pretty soon. Now, very quickly, before we move on, I just want to make a very quick personal plea, because these videos I do around my normal 9-to-5 job, would you believe? And I just want to make sure that they're doing their job. Let me know in the comments if you're finding these videos useful at all. And if you have, give us a like as well, because it'll help get these videos out to more and more people. And also make the fact that I'm giving up some of my evenings and weekends to get this information out to people all the more worthwhile. So thank you for your comment, thank you for your like, thank you for your subscribe. Let's get on with the news. Sticking with those special voyages, this one is the UK Comedy Fest voyage, which, as you'll know by now, if you've been looking into this voyage, Jack Whitehall will be the headline act of this sailing. If you're not familiar with the Comedy Fest sailings, what they are basically exactly that, a stand-up comedy festival at sea, where they bring on various celebrity stand-up comedians and let them really shine as headline acts throughout the voyage. So adding to the fact that Jack Whitehall has already been announced as the headliner for this festival, we now have the detail of a few more of the performers to expect on board. So this sailing kicks off on the 30th of August from Portsmouth. And on our article on vvinsider.com, we have a full list of all of the performers that will be on board. But some of the highlights include Tom Lucy, who has had sold out runs in Edinburgh and also has frequent TV appearances in the UK, as well as Kazim Jamal, who's a fast-rising voice in British comedy, known especially for his sharp takes on dating, culture, and modern life. And finally, Matt Stellingworth, who's not only an award-winning comic, but also a trained criminologist, blending intellect and dry wit. So if you're interested in the UK Comedy Fest Voyage, again, head over to our article on vvinsider.com and we can give you all the details that you'll need. Now, here's a piece of news if you particularly like to plan in advance, and that's an all-new itinerary drop, which this time is specifically around Scarlet Lady's summer 2027 voyages. Scarlet Lady will be returning to Europe in 2027, and she will be based this time from Athens. She's going to start her big journey to Europe on the 24th of April 2027 with a 14-night voyage to Barcelona. This 14-night transatlantic voyage starts off with a bunch of sea days until she reaches Gran Canaria. From there, there's another sea day, and then she goes to Casablanca in Morocco before heading to Valencia and then finally Barcelona. From there, she'll have an 8-night sailing to Athens with a couple of stops in Italy along the way. One noteworthy thing to mention about these new sailings is that there are going to be some sailings that visit a brand new port for Virgin Voyages. Specifically, we're talking about a stop in Saranda in Albania, including access to beautiful Ionian beaches and a nearby UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is rich in history from both Greek and Roman cultures. These newly announced itineraries have just been released, but they are available now to book. And as we've mentioned before, often the best way to get the best price on any voyage is to make sure you're booking early. Perhaps booking your 2027 voyage is a little bit too early, but you do stand to get some offers and discounts if you do that. We especially have a Sailor Loot offer from VV Insider, and we can tell you more about that on vvinsider/book, and we can see if we can get you some bonus Sailor Loot or bar tab if you book directly through us. Now for something incredibly exciting, and that is our first look at some of those interior spaces now they've started their renovations to get Brilliant Lady ready for her launch. Namely, we've been able to capture some photos of what the new Rojo by Razzle Dazzle restaurant looks like, which is the new Razzle Dazzle experience on Brilliant Lady, this time all around the taste of Spain. As you can see in these photos, the Razzle Dazzle restaurant has had a complete makeover and is now ready to welcome sailors with not only a bold new Spanish-styled interior, but also tastes, flavors, menus, drinks, all inspired by Spanish cuisine. On our VV Insider article, where we break down these photos, we have got a glimpse of a few different areas in the Rojo restaurant. We also have a fantastic sneak peek at the new look Athletic Club on Brilliant Lady. Now, this one comes as a little bit of a surprise because it's not something that Virgin Voyages has really talked about. But actually, the back of the ship is getting a little bit of a makeover. If you've sailed on Virgin Voyages before and you remember the old Athletics Club, you'll know there was a large area where there was a large sun lounger that wrapped the back of the ship. This is a large padded area which effectively looked like one giant sofa, where people could lounge and enjoy a cocktail in the sun. Now, we've heard promises that that will still remain. However, what you would have realized is that it was actually quite difficult to see outside of the ship, simply because there were these solid metal railings all the way around this sun lounger. So in order to see out the back of the ship and the wake, you would actually have to fairly dangerously clamber up on top of these loungers just to see over the railing. Now, because Brilliant Lady is going to be all about those scenic voyages, including the ability to pass through the Panama Canal and go on voyages into Alaska, for example, what Virgin Voyages are trying to do is give you more of a view of those scenic itineraries. And in order to do that, what they're doing is replacing the solid metal opaque railings with glass railings instead. So this should really open up the vistas and you'll be able to get much more of a sense of the scenery that you're passing through. This looks like it's going to be a great improvement. We're still waiting on some higher quality photos or some footage of this. But as you can see in this rather grainy picture that we've managed to capture, it is going to be quite a departure from what they currently have in the Athletic Club. One really recent article that we put out on vvinsider.com that I'd really encourage you to give a read, it's really interesting, And this is a guest post from one of our readers here at VV Insider, namely Claire Gillen Murrell, has shared her experiences about the Summer Season Pass. If you're not familiar with what the Summer Season Pass is, it's actually a really interesting way to sail on board the Virgin Voyages ships for a longer period of time, with a few extra perks as well. Claire walks through her experience of working from sea, because of course she was on there for a while, and also the community and friends that she met along the way. I really encourage you to go on vvinsider.com and have a read about Claire's experience on board as part of the Summer Season Pass. Now, as we quickly approach the launch of Brilliant Lady, I just want to remind you of a few things that are coming up for VV Insider in that regard. So we will be making our way down to Portsmouth on the launch week of Brilliant Lady. There are some exclusive events, including a huge launch party that will be taking place alongside the dock on Portsmouth International Port. This really will be Virgin Voyages' first chance to show the world Brilliant Lady as she will be at launch. Now, of course, her official launch doesn't start until the 5th of September in New York City, which is her Mermaiden voyage, but we do know that there will be some previews happening before that Mermaiden voyage, and it's our aim to bring you along to as much of that as possible. We're going to have more news in that regard, which we'll be able to share with you on this channel in the coming weeks. So do make sure that you subscribe to follow along with all of that excitement. We also want to do one of our first YouTube lives when we're down there in Portsmouth. So as long as the technology holds up, we're going to release information about our first YouTube live on board Brilliant Lady. And what we'd like to do is give you the opportunity to ask some questions about the ship, and we'll walk around and try and answer them for you. So here's hoping that the cell reception or the Wi-Fi is working well enough to bring that to you. We can only hope and pray at this point. But regardless of what happens, we'll be capturing tons of content, and we'll be finding out all the information that you need to know to bring it straight to you across vvinsider.com and on our YouTube and socials as well. If you stuck around to the end, that means, of course, you are a Virgin Voyages nerd just like we are. So if you want to support that Virgin Voyages nerdiness and getting all of this information out to thousands of people every week, the best way to support us is to always make sure you're booking your next voyage through vvinsider.com. So head over to vvinsider.com/book to find out more information about how we can help you book your next voyage, but also so we can make sure we get you the best price and any extra perks that you're entitled to as well. We have a new video coming up in our Sail Smarter with Virgin Voyages series, which will be coming out next week on Sunday, and that's all about those extra little bits of luxury that you can add to your standard sailing to get those touches of Rockstar and Mega Rockstar luxury without having to spend that extra money on a Mega Rockstar room. So we have 5 tips and 5 luxuries to walk you through. So do subscribe and we'll be bringing that to you next week. So until next time, happy sailing.